Good Wednesday morning to you. Today we're going to pick up on continuing this project. If you didn't see the Where's My Tea episode, I'll link it here so you can see basically the explanation on what all is going on with all of this digging. But the bottom line is I thought I needed to do something with the sprinklers, so I was trying to figure out how the plumbing was actually done 50 odd years ago when this place was built. And it's a really kind of a strange thing where basically the water comes in under the driveway. It comes from across the driveway, comes across. I know this because there's a valve that turns on half the lawn and this whole bed. So it comes across right about here, comes over, and I've got a riser here. It goes down that way. Makes a right turn. Maybe you can see that one there. Makes a right turn and goes up and catches the side, and then somehow dives under the driveway again and comes back up. Maybe it was just because it does get closer and closer to the edge of the driveway as it goes this way. So maybe whoever was laying the pipe that day was having a bad day and realized, oh great, now I'm too far over. I got to add some 90s and a 45 and whatever and get it so it'll pop up right in that corner. So he did get it done, or whoever did it. But today's task is to start the actual conversion from these old half-inch galvanized. I'm not going to be able to replace the galvanized pipe, but I'm going to convert these from pop-ups and standoff sprinklers to micros, which should be more efficient and save us a little bit of water in the middle of a drought. So time to set up the time lapse, give myself some music, and let's go. Alright, well, the phone overheated, so I'm going to make this quick. You missed it. I was trying to get it out, and I realized, yeah, that's exactly what it is. That line is coming from over there, connected in, and while I was trying to wrench it off, everything else started to loosen up, and eventually it just kind of came off. I'm hoping the threads that are there are clean enough that I can cap it. That way I'm not trying to do anything more than that. I had to cut out some of the concrete that was actually the base for the bricks, not the driveway itself, so I should be able to repair that. But I'm going to try and clean it up and at least get that capped off. I did get the one in the middle out, so I should be able to... Where did that even go? I'll find... Oh, there it is, right there. But let me see what I can do about putting some caps on and maybe manually watering some of this stuff. Well, this is the disaster of the morning. Unfortunately, when it came off, it revealed that there wasn't much thread left. I've tried putting a cap on there. I've tried sanding it down, hopefully to make it to get it to a point where I could actually get a cap on there, just to free up some thread, clean it up. That doesn't seem to be working, so I can't attach anything to it. So option one is find some sort of cap that has like an O-ring that I can just push on and it'll seal it. Option two, if that doesn't work, I may have to go back to where the line goes across, and I'm going to have to take out one more block and some more of the foundation for those blocks and get in there and try to unscrew this pipe from that T and hope that there's good thread there. Otherwise this just turns into a disaster where I'm working my way back. I would rather spend 20 bucks on a cap than have to go through all of this. So I'm going to look that up, and that'll be it for today. I got other things to do. let's see what tomorrow brings. Good Thursday morning to you. Let's give this another shot. After some thinking and some work yesterday, I managed to clean the pipe quite a bit. Then I went off in search of some kind of cap that I could put on there, and $20 or not, there just isn't really any good option out there except to work my way back to the previous where it runs across there, so that's a T. So one thing at a time. I've just got to kind of dig and do the demolition first before I can try and remove it. Okay, let me zoom back out. And I wish I could get you closer, but the phone's just going to overheat. I mean, I can already feel it, and it's only probably like about 9:30 now. So I dug it out. Now you can see the T, although actually it's in shadow. And I threw some WD-40 on it to penetrate. In a perfect world, I'd let that soak for 24, 48 hours. Give me the best chance, but I got to try and get this done because the sprinklers aren't. I had to turn the sprinkler system off just because of the open pipe at the end here. So if I can get this out successfully, then I will put a short piece back in and a cap, because I can't cap that piece. So let's give it a shot. Phew, that's a relief. We'll zoom out and get down there and show you. Ooh. Alright, that's the piece that came out. That's my T. Now usable again. I just gotta find a short piece. I've already got caps, and it's a question of whether I should cap it off or actually try and put a 90 in there. Oh, I don't have any 90s. Well, I can cap it off for now and come back to it later. At least I know I've got a workable thread. So, yeah, let me just go ahead and cap it off, and we'll call this done here and figure out what we're doing next. Alright, I'm going to stay zoomed in here and hope that it's not too shaky. But, finally got it in. That's a relief. I thought this was going to fight me for a long time, but there we go. We got a short piece in. Unfortunately, that's one of the risers I bought to go along with one of these three, but I guess that's the third one, whatever. That one's in. The one in the middle I replaced yesterday, so that's ready to go to be adapted. The one on the end here is the real wild card. It's not too high, so I think I can adapt it as is, but my concern is after monkeying with it yesterday that it might leak. So there's one way to find out. Let me move my tripod out of the way. I'm going to go to the manual valve. We're going to the sprinklers, and we're going to see. Let's see. It's zone 1. I'm only going to turn it on briefly, and we'll see if we have leaks. And then it occurs to me, I'm not going to see much out here when they kick on. It's all that's going to be up at the street. Oh wow. Yeah, let me zoom back out. Okay. Nothing here. I got water coming out over here. That's a good thing. Okay. So that's alive. This is not leaking. This one is leaking slightly. Yeah, it looks like it's coming from the cap, so I'm going to have to tighten that up. And then this one over here appears to be dry, so I think I'm good. I'm just going to tighten up that one, and I can start filling in some of the dirt and cleaning up around here. I think that's it for today. I'm going to do some cleanup, but I got 2 sprinkler heads in, tested, and got them working. That's it for today. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Good Friday morning to you. Well, I went out and got more parts yesterday. Kind of have a plan. Let's just get going. And if I've done this right, 8 minutes later we go from a broken pipe to a capped off pipe to 7 more parts before the cap. But where the cap is right now, I'm going to pressure test it real quick. I'm going to remove my Bluetooth speaker because it got wet yesterday. But it survived. Yeah, and so I'm going to pressure test it right now, and if that works right, then I'll be able to put a manifold on there and run a couple of 1/4-inch lines and start filling up the bed. I didn't mention yesterday, I think at the end, let me actually zoom back out for you, that I was going to put in some flags to indicate where I want to put the actual sprinklers. So this will be basically a connection for the sprinkler, but the actual heads will go where the flags are. So I got one here, that'll be a 90 going up that way and that way. This will be a 180 adjustable going left and right. Back in there I've got another one, and then coming up the street I decided there'll be one right here which will come off of this one, and there'll be another one right here going up that way and that way coming off of this one. So it's a bit of a run for the tubing, but yeah, that's the plan. Let's start executing it. Time for pressure test. Let's see if this thing leaks. Yeah, I could tighten things up a little bit. All right, take 2. Alright, I think we're close enough. I'm going to try and tighten it up just a little more, and then we'll get to actually putting the sprinklers in. Silly me, I forgot. Yesterday when I went out to go find parts, I wanted to get like a 5-pack of the adjustable 90s. Couldn't find them. I have the 180s here, so I ended up buying a couple of individual 90s, and that's what I just dropped in there when it's supposed to be a 180. So I'm just going to swap out the head, and that should pretty much take care of that. Head swap is pretty simple. Let me see if I can get you a slightly better angle. It's just a matter of unscrewing the old one off of the tube and screwing the new one on. If you're lucky and the threads match up, then you're golden. Otherwise, you have to cut a little bit off of the tube and to put the new one on, so it'll kind of rethread itself into that tubing. So I'm going to give it a shot. Let's just fire it up and see. With some luck, it'll already be adjusted to maximum. Otherwise, I'll have to turn the little, there's a little knob. Let's see if I can get that in the shot. This knob at the top here, and you just turn it to adjust it. Okay, that was working. I only set it to come on for a minute. So, there we go. That's got that one. Now I got to trench back into the bed, because that's a 2-port manifold right there. I'm going to put the other one up over that way roughly, so I'll see if I can get you a better angle. Okay, maybe time for a break for both me and the phone. Unfortunately, the 2-port that I put on there, the tiny little piece snapped off on me. Thankfully, I had a backup, and then we'll give it a test. Okay, it's getting harder and harder to find shades, so a slightly different angle. I'm going to try and turn it on. We'll see how those two work. That's good. That's fairly sticky. Time to step into the water. That's the crazy part, is getting yourself wet. But that one's working, so on to the next one. Alright, as I adjust a little bit here and it complains about being hot again, let me see if I can't zoom out. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and run a test on this one that I just put in. Unfortunately, turns out the backup manifold I thought I had actually was the last one, and I've got one more to go, so I'm going to have to go get another one to replace the one that broke. And then I'll be able to finish the last sprinkler. But thankfully, this one came off without giving me a big fight. So I'm going to go turn it on, and we'll see what happens. Alright, that one's on. Could be adjusted. Honestly, it's barely spitting, so I'm going to try and adjust the one beyond it and get a replacement head for that, and I'll come back. Let me show you what this is actually doing here. Try and get a good angle. That's what I'm seeing. The other one was not much better, which makes me wonder if there's a problem with the water trying to make it all the way up here. Not enough pressure? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but let me try one more thing and then we'll give up for the day. Alright, I think some of the items I got were from a bad batch. I might have to go back. I've been running back and forth between two of the big box home improvement stores because one of them is reorganizing. The other one just didn't have some of the parts I needed. So I'm going to go back to the one that's reorganizing and hope that I can find a 5-pack of the adjustable 90s, because that'll solve a lot of the problems that I'm having. And I need one more, at least a 1-port manifold. I got to decide whether I'm going to get one or a 2, and that's for the one that's still sticking up just beyond the pad there. So that should be it for today. I'm going to go ahead and clean up and put away tools, and we'll pick up again tomorrow. That's it for today. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Good early Saturday morning to you. Figured I'd get out before the sun took over and get this one last sprinkler. I managed to get out and get the parts yesterday that I'm going to need to do this, and it's just going to go up where that blue flag is. But I also picked up some more flags, but more about that in a minute. Let's just get right down to it. Alright, that's not too bad for an early morning maneuver. We've got all of them running. I got the new one in. I did some tuning. Pardon me while I put away my tripod. I don't know how long they're going to run. I only gave it a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, there's a couple of them like this one right here that barely spits and it just shut off. And then you probably saw up here that one barely spits, but you know, honestly, I can plan the garden around that, and then later I can figure out, but at least later I can figure out what's going on, maybe improve it. But I'm honestly not too concerned about it. I think I'm going to redo this slightly up here, And then I'll probably just put a bunch of succulents up along that edge, so that I don't have to worry so much about water, and at least that agave will get some water. And then over here, everything that needs to get water is getting water. Over here, where this one's barely spitting, I can just put more succulents here and not worry too much about it. So I think I kind of got it. Aside from the repair work, I need to repair here where I had to knock out the blocks, and I realized as I was working on this over here that this last block for the retaining wall is kind of loose, and if they come back here and step on it, they might end up clobbering that unit there. So, but also this block is loose, so I think I'll kind of excavate some stuff out. I'll fix this block, and at the same time maybe I can put something underneath to help support that block, so that if anybody does stand on it, I'd rather them stand on that and have it be solid than have them stand on the adapter there. And over here, let's see, is this one loose? Nope, that one's not loose. It's good enough. So, bit of repair work, but this part of the project is over. On to the next thing.